Friends and neighbors of the family say this is like a second home to Kyron.
Good morning. Welcome to the Fox 26 Morning News. I'm McCloy. This is one of the only light switches left in the house, and it doesn't work. And behind me used to be a wood stove, but the previous owner took it and the tile behind it. Just a moment ago, another surge came into the harbor. You could see the water moving. It pushed boats right on top of each other, a pile up right behind me. Standing in the harbor when I took these pictures, I can tell you it was extremely dangerous. And it is the weekend, so you may be going on a road trip, and this could come in handy. Austin Reed has the numbers.
This grow is located near Selma in an area so remote we had to be airlifted here.
Jobs, jobs, jobs. It's all Washington's talking about these days. How to create them, how to pay for them.
I'm standing in what was Lisa Jones' front door, and if you walk over here, this was a freezer in the garage, that a bathroom, and over there was her bedroom.
Hello, good morning, everyone. It is the 14th of September. I'm Ann McCloy. It is official. Harry and David is out of bankruptcy. An executive for the company announced the news to the Mail Tribune overnight. The announcement was made by Kay Fong, the interim CEO. Happening tonight in Jacksonville, the Planning Commission will discuss whether live outdoor music should be allowed to continue at the South Stage Cellars Wine Garden. The big reveal of the Extreme Makeover Home Edition project is today at 3 p.m. And this morning, NBC 5 News is giving you an exclusive first-hand sneak peek of the home. We do have a recall to tell you about this morning. Japanese automaker Subaru is recalling nearly 200,000 Legacy and Outback vehicles. Up All Night stars Christina Applegate and Will Arnett as overwhelmed first-time parents. The show debuts after the finale of America's Got Talent. Well, it turns out many older women are not getting the information they need about their sexual health. That's according to a new study that finds women over 50 are sexually active and know about the risks of STDs. A lot of people talking about it, a lot of people expected to go. So how will the weather hold up? At 6:41, we do your Pump Patrol segment now. We bring you the least expensive gas prices in Southern Oregon and Northern California. And our Austin Reed has the latest numbers for you right now. Hi, Austin. I was in Paddington Station over in Ashland, and they're putting all their new Christmas stuff up too. It's not even Halloween yet.
We arrived at 9:30 this morning, and it looked a lot different than it does now. Crime tape surrounds the home, and in the front yard, we saw all 6 family members. They were receiving CPR from paramedics. It was a bad situation, one of the worst I've ever seen, as they were receiving help. There was smoke coming from the roof of the home. Now, a lot of people in the neighborhood thought that this was a fire, that they had received smoke inhalation. We later found out that at least 5 of those family members were stabbed, and the fire started afterwards. 4 children, the oldest 7 years old, the youngest just 2, loaded into ambulance after ambulance. Their mother carried out on a stretcher behind. An entire family of 6 rushed to the hospital, including the father, now suspected of stabbing his wife and kids and setting his Medford home on fire.
Everyone was getting CPR, nobody was moving, so.
Several neighbors called 911 around 9:30 in the morning, reporting smoke from the roof.
A few minutes after I got out here, they started pulling out the children and the parents.
The aftermath of what police now say was a homicide.
A 51-year-old male who has survived this event is currently in stable condition at a local hospital. He is under police watch at this time, but there are no charges.
When Steve Holub saw the neighbor kids unconscious out front, he says he made his grandchildren leave the house. They used to play.
I made sure they stayed away because I don't want them being around seeing their friends laying on the ground.
Holub says the family had lived there less than a year, says the dad had been working on the home.
Trying to fix the house up, make it livable.
Which is why he believed the fire must have been a horrible accident.
My guess, it could be anything from old wiring to, faulty, heating or cooling or anything they were running.
Had no idea the father would later be accused of killing his own family. Police say the fire that happened here was no accident. We have learned that all 4 children, ages 2, 5, 6, and 7, have died. The 30-year-old mother is dead as well. And we have received an update on the father. He is in the hospital in serious condition, but just a horrible scene. It all took place right behind me. And like I said, never seen anything like it. The whole street blocked off, about 5 blocks blocked off, full of fire officials, police, and just a terrible situation for this community. Live in Medford, Ann McCloy, NBC 5 News. In a moment, water began pouring into the Crescent City harbor.
It looks like a river flowing into our harbor, and that's not normal.
Fishermen frantically trying to save their boats in the wake of a tsunami. Crescent City expected waves up to 8 feet high.
Fire department was actually going to house, evacuating everyone.
The harbor by far the worst hit, but fishermen would not leave.
Devastation. I got my boat down here at the frontier, and I'm hoping that it makes it through it. I hope it keeps floating. Right now it's floating. It's got a couple holes in it. But look, it's devastation. This is bad.
Just a moment ago, another surge came into the harbor. You could see the water moving. It pushed boats right on top of each other, a pile up right behind me. Standing in the harbor when I took these pictures, I can tell you it was extremely dangerous. The first wave of water destroyed the dock, pieces floating, huge crabbing boats crashing into each other. The power of the water pulled boats off the docks and sent them floating.
You got to keep coming in. You got to keep coming and checking on it. I just threw 4 or 5 ropes on it, hoping to secure it to something.
At least 12 boats completely sank underwater.
You've been here the whole time?
Yeah.
What
I
have
had to when a salt like rest these.
Bob Page refused to abandon ship. Then another surge came into the harbor. Bob and his boat had no control. He and a friend frantically tried to avoid crashing, but it was mostly futile.
Businesses, a lot of fishermen are probably going to lose their businesses if their boats aren't fixable, salvageable.
On higher ground, evacuees could see everything.
When the tsunami horn goes off at 3:30 in the morning, you get a little bit of adrenaline rush, and you pack your car and head to the hills.
Kevin Luskin left his home just feet from the ocean. He and other onlookers came to Vista Point, the only part of Crescent City that looks at the water from a safe place. The aftermath of a tsunami, the destruction of a harbor where many make their living and their life. This is all that's left of the home Julie Thomas and her husband bought 10 years ago today. It burned to the ground with 11 others on their street.
We signed the escrow papers on our anniversary.
Now on their 26th wedding anniversary, the couple and their son are sifting through the rubble.
Just my computer's done.
The family considers their finds lucky. Some of the 10 other homes lost in the fire have nothing left.
What photo is that?
A little bit charred, but...
Lisa Jones is 5 months pregnant.
We had a couple little baby things.
Her house, one of the most devastated on the street. I'm standing in what was Lisa Jones' front door, and if you walk over here, this was a freezer in the garage, that a bathroom, and over there was her bedroom, all completely destroyed.
That was really shocking. It was totally surreal. It was like a bad movie, bad horror movie.
The fire jumped from house to house. Chimneys are all that's left of the 3 homes in the center, and each home has a story. This one belongs to this man's great-great-grandmother.
Their whole life was in there. They're 88 years old.
Julie Thomas considers each saved item a precious gift.
My husband flies, and so it's his logbook for all of the flying that he's done.
Which is why, despite the incredible loss, she says she's thankful.
The Lord's going to take care of us. We've never missed a meal in our lives.
Oddly enough, one of the only things to make it out, the Bible. In Ashland, Ann McCloy, NBC 5 News.